Good evening, y'all. It's a wandering author here, reminding you that we are all the authors of our own lives. As always, my message remains the same: spend less, live more, earn your freedom with frugality. Now, with the way these travels are going, I figured I'm gonna have to reorient my content production strategy. And I thought that I might start with a new take, while I'm traveling. We'll do bedtime tales. So this right here and then I'm gonna do like some off the chain stuff if it comes up as I'm speaking. But today, just for clarity, I just hiked about 13 miles in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. I'm at the Tennessee Welcome Center on my way north towards Acadia National Forest right now. Funny enough, the biggest thing that I noticed today is, compared to Colorado, these mountains in the Appalachian Mountains, like in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, they're a lot gentler. Obviously, they're older mountain chain, but it's almost like rolling hills. I literally hiked for 2 hours uphill the entire time, and then 2 hours downhill afterwards. Like, I hiked 10 miles, and 5 of it was continuous uphill slope, like pretty intense. Anyways, so Alan Watts says that and this is in reference to Mahayana Buddhism, for the Indian tradition, even more than the Chinese, specifically encourages the abandonment of the conventional life at a certain age, after the duties of family and citizenship have been fulfilled. Relinquishment of caste is the outward and visible sign of the realization that one's true state is unclassified. One thing that I do recognize whenever we look at Eastern is they're not as, they talk openly about caste, right? Which is like social status. They're more open about it. Those things always play out in the real world, but, so whenever Gautama Buddha, the original Buddha, for 7 years, he struggled by the means of traditional yoga, which, by the way, yoga was originally a spiritual tradition espoused by the Vedas in Indian cultural lineage. So, to penetrate the cause of man's enslavement to Maya, which is just like our uncertainties, right? Now, during his search, however hard he tried to find the root of his enslavement inside his mind, which, again, he's a slave to, like, the pursuit of pleasure, like we all are because we're humans. But when he was really trying to figure out what got to the bottom of it, all he found was his desire to understand it, that will to concentrate. And that right there, in some of my earlier videos today, when I was out walking, I talked about the non-graspingness of mind. And so that's really one of the biggest things. I don't know if it's his biggest insight, but that's the thing that spoke the most to me, is learning, like Roman Stoics talk about equanimity. Learning how to accept whatever you're handed in life and just rolling with the curves, you know? So I wasn't particularly enamored by the way most of my day was. Like, even though I was in Great Smoky Mountain National Park, it was not as awe-inspiring as, like, Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore was when I was out. But I still did 10 miles of hiking, and I tried my best. And I got plenty more to come in the upcoming week. So, again, whenever something bad comes to you, you don't gotta, it's the wanting, it's the desire for something that's not in your current state. And that right there is very stoic, and again, it's Buddha's key insight as well. So all through the night until the first glimpse of the morning star suddenly provoked a state of perfect clarity and understanding. His real message remained always unspoken. When words attempted to express it, they made it seem as if it were nothing at all. Ultimately, Four Noble Truths, patterned on the traditional Vedic form of a physician's diagnosis and prescription. So, Buddha's key insights are distilled into 4 truths. And these right here are the identification of the disease and its cause, the pronouncement as to whether it may be cured, and the prescription for the remedy. The point is rather to live as we usually live. It is suffering, more exactly, is bedeviled by the peculiar frustration which comes from attempting the impossible. And again, impermanence. I know I mentioned that one. Anatman, anitya, and the absence of self. So impermanence is just how everything always changes. Like Heraclitus, the Greek philosopher, he says panta rai, everything flows, and no man steps in the same river twice, because it's always changing, right? Now, the point is rather that there is no self or basic reality which may be grasped either by direct experience or by concepts. The Upanishads distinguish between Atman, the true super-individual self, and Jivatman, or individual soul. And even in Christian heritage, they actually do distinguish between spirit and soul. I made a couple videos on them. Anime, which Aristotle talks about in De Anima. And there's Suke, which translates into psyche today. Now, I don't know enough about Atman or Anatman to tell you exactly, but I bet as we go into this, we'll see there probably are some similarities. So, the second noble truth relates to the cause of frustration, which is said to be trishna, clinging or grasping. Again, I mentioned that a second ago. Based on avidya, which is ignorance or unconsciousness. For to one who has self-knowledge, there is no duality between himself and the external world. Karma is thus the fate of everyone who tries to be God. So the active principle of the round is known as karma, or conditioned action. Action that is arising from a motive and seeking a result. So every action that we do with intention is what we would say in the West, ends up, man is involved in karma when he interferes with the world in such a way that he is compelled to go on interfering, when the solution of a problem creates still more problems to be solved. Karma is thus the fate of everyone who tries to be God. But, the next major spot that we're going to go to is Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. There are some sites that I missed out on going to see down in South Carolina, but, yeah, we're at a rest stop. But, you could spend literally hours just kind of driving around in circles, and I am actually trying to get to a final destination while also, I've been doing the hiking thing when I'm traveling, but I want to start skating because I want to get seriously good at skating. And I think in the week I'm going to start spending 3 or 4 hours a day on my skateboard, because that's what I was doing before I actually got back to hiking. And my hips are really starting to open up. I'm starting to really feel my center of gravity a lot more. My midline fighters talk about it a lot. And I'm finally starting to feel in my back. That right there's from the hiking, and whenever I'm on the board, I don't know. I'm thinking my long-term goal for my channel is going to be about self-mastery. I think I'm going to try to buy property next year. And just continue doing what I'm doing and getting really good at it. Anyways, the Four Noble Truths describe the Eightfold Path of the Buddha's Dharma. That is, the method or doctrine whereby self-frustration is brought to an end. Each section of the path has a name preceded by the word samyak, which has the meaning of perfect or complete. The first 2 sections have to do with thought. The following 4 have to do with action. And the final two have to do with contemplation or awareness. We therefore have Samyak Drishiti, or complete view, complete understanding, complete speech, complete action, complete vocation, complete application, and complete recollectedness. Now, he does go on to elucidate, and I definitely think there's content worth making out of this. But see, eventually he gets into Zen, and that right there is very similar to Roman Stoicism. The more that I've learned about it, again, I have way more knowledge, working knowledge, on Western modes of thought, but it's interesting to learn about these ones from the East. Anyways, that's my bedtime story for you guys tonight. I'm eating some cookies. I'm about to go to bed right here. And then tomorrow, I've got to figure out somewhere to go and work for a little bit so I can continue doing what I'm doing. And then I'm going to figure out either some beautiful nature spot or somewhere to escape where I can make more actual content. I don't mean to take it so long. I want to kind of keep doing what I've been doing, which is more structured stuff, but it's Sunday.